want to introduce our first speaker, Zoe Bennett. Absolutely amazing woman. If you don't know her, by the end of her talk, you're going to want to find out who she is. So, can I welcome Zoe Bennett onto stage, please? Woo!
Hi everybody, how are you doing? Is everyone good? Good. So we're going to have an amazing day today. It's all about empowering, and the topic today is all about inspiring inclusion. And I'm not going to lie, with all these wonderful people, different genders, different races, this truly is inspire inclusion right now. We are making history today with one of the largest International Women's Days events here. Now, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story, how it blends with networking, elevating me, helping me to soar, not only in my business, but also in my personal life. And I'm going to share with you little elements of how to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset. Now, I'm just going to take it straight back to, you've got to recognize, this is one thing about everybody, recognize your greatness. Recognize you have so much to give, and recognize you have to validate you. And recognize that you do not have to wait for somebody else to tell you to get started, to tell you that actually the idea that you have, the direction that you're going in is the way that you need to go. You need to be the person that chooses. You need to be the person that tells yourself it's okay to get started. And if anyone else then gives you any advice, it sprinkles on top. It's about changing your mindset of how you view how you can move forward, how it's going to work for you. Now, I was told many moons ago that I would amount to be nothing. Do you think I'm nothing? Yeah? Do you think you're nothing? Exactly. But the thing that we've got to remember, people will always have their opinions. It's not about what their opinions are, it's how you internalize and process that opinion. And understand that just because somebody says something doesn't mean that that's the end of the line. It just means that that's something from their perspective, and we all have our own perspectives, and we have to work on our own gut and work on our own hunch about if we feel that something is important for us. Don't try and wait and see, does someone else think I should do it? If you believe in it, go for it. And that's what I want to share with you today. I'm going to share the story of me just going for it and not listening to any naysayers or negative nannies. I listen to my own positive Polly in my own head. So, many years ago, I actually used to truant from school because I never ever believed I would ever be anything, because I was told it so many times. And I truanted so much that I rarely went into lessons because the teachers sent across to the colleges that I would get U's and F's, my expected grades. So what's the point of turning up to school? So anyway, I decided on one of the days I'm going to come into school. It so happened to be my GCSEs. And I sat my GCSEs without barely going to school, and I got A's, B's and C's and 1D. And in that moment, it made me realize that I need to stop backing myself, and I need to stop allowing other people to get into my head. And it's the same whether you're in business or you're a leader or you're within work environments. You've got to stop allowing other people to tell you whether you can go for that raise, whether you can go for that position, whether you can go and elevate your business or even start a business. You have to decide that you are able. Know who you are. But the thing is, the reason why is because I never knew who I was. I was too busy allowing other people to tell me who I am. I am someone who's formidable. I am someone who is determined. I am someone who is focused. I am someone who will never give up. You have to tell yourself who you are and remind yourself who you are every single day. You need to tell yourself, if you're someone who perseveres, you've got to remind yourself, no matter what comes my way, I'm never going to give up. I'm going to persevere, going to put one foot forward and keep moving forward. But let me tell you this, just because you're moving forward doesn't mean you sometimes don't have to step backwards. It's okay to take a leap and step back and analyze. Don't just keep running at where you want to go to. Always be reflective on absolutely every step of the way. We do not always get it right. Forget the myth that unless you're succeeding, then that's the only way to go. No. Sometimes we have to fail in order to succeed. Yeah? Failure is success in disguise. Why? Without having those stumbling blocks, without someone telling me that I wouldn't succeed, I want to process it anyway better and done better, to be more, to do more. I would not have done that. So it's always about allowing yourself to learn from every single experience in your life. Not everything's going to go your way. Not everything's going to be right from the get-go. But eventually, through perseverance, through determination, through keep going forward, you'll get there. And there's so many people thinking, oh no, I've tried so much, I've had no's. No, turn the no around and say, bring it on. Next opportunity. All of those good stuff. But never allow any opportunity where you feel, remember, feel is not always real. Just because you feel you can't do something doesn't mean it's real. Just because you feel someone is doing better than you doesn't mean it's real. Somebody could be on TikTok and to the side it looks all pristine, to the other side it's all a mess. You know? So don't watch other people. Watch your own ride. Do your own race. And clap everyone else on their races. But don't compare yourself. Encourage yourself. Congratulate yourself. These are things that we forget to do. I'll give you an example. If you took an exam right now, and I can guarantee any which one of you, you took an exam and it's out of 100%. And in that exam, you got 90% right and 10% wrong. You'll be literally battering your own head, oh, how come I didn't get the extra 10%, or where did I go wrong? Instead of sitting and standing up and saying, do you know something? That 90%, I did it. Even if you got 60% and you got 40% wrong, you'll still be going on and about this 40%. It doesn't matter. Even if the passing grade was 70%, you've still got 60%. You've still got something about you. You've got to stop looking at any of the negativity. Live your life in a positive state. Live your life in a solution state instead of a problem state. As soon as you feel and hear, you're thinking about, oh, the problem is, your immediate response to yourself is the solution is. Never stop just because something is in your way. If it's in your way, it's in your way to see how hungry you are, how much you want it. Why? Because life is not meant to be easy. It's meant to be there for those who really, really respect the grind and respect knowing that if they push a little bit more, then they'll get it. Trust me, in that moment when you feel that you're going to give up, ask yourself, who are you giving up on? It's yourself, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations. And if you haven't written those goals, dreams and aspirations down, get those written. Write down exactly where you want to be. You owe it to yourself. You need something visual. Sometimes we get so stuck in our own head and we get so lost in where we can be because we're not writing these things down. We're not seeing these things visually. When you can see something visual, you've got something to work with. Create vision boards. You know, vision boards are absolutely amazing. Now, without me having this energy from when I was told that I'd amount to be nothing, when my tragedy hit in my life, I really would not have been able to push forward. My father was the greatest, kindest human who was very given. He started the first West Indian Sports and Social Club in Preston, Lancashire, to bring the communities together, playing dominoes matches and football, cricket matches with the police to break the barriers of racism. Now, myself, I actually came from a background of my dad just always telling me I can, and you know, and showing me, not just telling me, but he showed me. There's so many people tell other people, do this, do that, but they're not doing it themselves. But my dad would, so I could see that actually, if you do this, you get tangible results. Now, I was a very stubborn child when it came to my dad. I would never understand his sayings about shortcuts don't make it. You know, it means take your time, you'll get there. It's never too late for a shower of rain. It's an eye roll, like, yeah, whatever. That means, like, you know what, even if you don't get it now, you're going to get it. But I never got the gravity until tragedy happened. So, up until this incident, which I'm going to share with you shortly, I then decided, you know something, I'm going to take control of my life on my terms. So I was working as a normal, just a travel agent, and I went to university because I'm not going to allow anyone to tell me who I am. And I did my master's in tourism management. I used to go to the car parks, change there, get dressed. I was a single mum at this time, go and do the childcare, drop them off, carry on my shift back to work, and I would do this. And I managed to do my master's degree in 1 year. It was meant to be over 2 years part-time, but I did it in 1 year because I backed myself. And it's about backing yourself. So I eventually got that. As a result of that, I was able to apply for a job for the country of a government of another country, a very high position where I would have to stand in for the High Commissioner of that country or the Minister of Tourism for that country. And I had a holiday home in that country where I promoted, and it was 7-bedroom, and my dad will allow the police and the local schools to come and have their events there as well, free of charge, because that's what it was about, community spirit. Anyway, so he went over to holiday, and I was due to be there that morning, and there was a bungled robbery. They expected me to be there as well. I was 5 months pregnant, and they tortured my dad to death, trying to find out where I was as well, because they wanted to murder the whole of us so that they can keep the house and the cars and everything. So for some reason, I'm still standing, I'm still here, my plans changed. And as a result of that, I said, I am not going to allow justice not to be served. I hired private investigators, I did all sorts of things, I had death threats, etc. And the government of this country had to get involved because it was that severe. They tried to trace back the phone calls. It went to an unidentifiable IP address. And eventually, I persevered. But I'm going to tell you how I persevered, and this is going to help you all real quick. So I'm going to just rewind you into how I managed to fund all of this, and then how I managed to get my own business and bootstrap that. And bootstrap means funding your own business. So in my 20s, we're talking about now when I've now got my master's degree in tourism, all I heard was my dad, because he's still alive at this stage, he's always in my head, oh, your property's your pension, your property's your pension. And again, I roll in. And then I realised, I did the figures, I'm thinking, actually, when I'm over 50 odd years of age, I'm going to end up spending over £100,000 on a house that is not even worth that. And I realised that I had to take my dad's advice eventually. So I paid all my bills up front for 2 years. And I then gave myself only £20 a week spending money. And that included my petrol, getting to work, getting my food, my childcare, everything you can imagine. Because remember, I paid everything, the big bills up front already. And then I changed my mortgage to an offset mortgage. Now, if anyone doesn't know what that is, look it up. OFFSET, offset account. What that does, you put your savings or your wages go into that account. It reduces the interest. So, because it reduces the interest, even if you don't put any extra money in, change it to an offset will always reduce your mortgage for so many years, yeah? So anyway, by doing that, I ended up paying off my mortgage within 2 years. 2 years. So what I'm saying when I said rewind back, it gave me choices later on in life. So then I went on to buy my house in Preston, I bought a house in Cheshire, then I had this house in the Caribbean. And so I had assets, I had all paid up assets. So when tragedy happened and I had to then pay to private investigators to repatriate the body, they've lost my dad's body in Gatwick Airport as well, so I had to find that also. You know, it was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous, but I found him eventually. I never gave up. I persevered. The funeral home came down to pick up my dad's body from Gatwick Airport, couldn't find it, went straight back to Preston and still charged me for not doing the job correctly. Anyway, but guess what? My dad's sayings were always in my mind, so you know what? Don't react, respond. So all these things are now playing out. So he was preparing me for all of this, preparing me to help other people too. So eventually I ended up having to then spend over £100,000 of my own money to fight justice. So good job that I had these properties I could sell. Do you see now? Sometimes you have to set yourself up now for later, you know, and don't worry about the time. Stop making this time thing a problem. It will take as long as it takes, as Peppa Pig says, if you ever watch Peppa Pig. So, but literally, what that did, it helped me to eventually I got justice. So the MP actually stood up for me. I was actually sent a letter from the government of another country saying that if I did not go to this country, stand up in court and say it was my dad that was murdered, they would close the case. So I was ready to go. I was ready to go to my death. I was happy to do that. Why? Because I knew my dad would. And one thing, you've got to stand up for what you believe in, regardless of, because people will try and intimidate you a lot of the time and make you believe that you can't do something and you can't aspire, you can't achieve, because they want to be a bit higher than you. Don't ever let that happen. So anyway, the MP stepped in. I had a meeting with him, and he says, do you know what, Zoe, I'm going to save you. I'm going to say, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Guess what? Within less than a week, he had a meeting at the House of Commons for me. Then he chaired a meeting at the Foreign Office. Within less than a few weeks, one of the murderers got 40 years to life without parole. And then the other case I took against my employers, because it went in the Daily Mail, the Mirror, etc., and won on all counts against the government. And what does that tell you? Perseverance, never give up. They kept saying, you can't go against the giants. And I was like, do you know something? It's not about that. It's about, for me, I can't allow anyone else to go through what I've gone through. Now, one of the newspapers did an article and said out of 100% of murders in that particular country, only 5% go to trial and conviction. And I was be damned if that's going to happen in my case. Why? It's not going to bring my dad back, but it's going to stop other people from going through that. And you've got to always stand up. If you believe in something, stand up. Don't let anything or anyone make you feel that you can't. You can if you really wanted to. It's enough of the talking and it's about the doing. That's what's going to get you results. So as a result of that, once I succeeded, I decided I'm going to set up a training company, which is what I own, Training Personified Limited, to teach employers how to look after their internal customers. And that's how Training Personified was created. Now today, Training Personified delivers on leadership skills, customer service, team building. We have entrepreneurship, where I have a partnership deal with NatWest Bank, where I help business owners to level up and scale in their business. And the program's going so fantastic. There's someone in the audience here as well in the program, which is great. And also I do employability, Miss Blondie doing wigs in the front, well done. And I also focus on employability. So I've got a contract, a very nice, big, lovely contract with one of the large prime companies of the UK to move people towards work. But what they do, they give me, because of my lived experience of trauma, and it goes beyond my dad, it's far worse than that. In my 20s, someone broke into my house, beat me into an inch of my life, and assaulted me in the worst ways you can imagine. I won't be graphic, you can imagine what it was. They ended up spending 3 years in jail for that attack on me. But you know what? Perseverance, knowing that I will get through, and these things happen for a reason. That's the only way I got to process it. Plus the book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. When you're ready to hear that book, you'll understand it. If you're not ready, it's cryptic. It sounds so cryptic. But The Art of War by Sun Tzu, every single day with my dad's sayings, gets me through. The Art of War is not about the little battles, it's about the war. And if you're not at the war, stop. Stop fighting everything. Because by tomorrow, if you stop, you forget half the time what it was you were going to be fighting over, and you've just wasted time. Make your time valuable. Make it worthwhile. Spend your time on the things that matter. So my employability program, we work on the reds. So we've got the amber system. The greens are pretty much close to work. The ambers got a little bit more working on CV building, interview skills. But the reds now, these are the ones that are limiting beliefs, lacking confidence, furthest away from work, long-term unemployed, ex-offenders, homelessness, substance abuse, all of those ones with maybe talking therapies that they're in, and they send them to me. Why? Because I get it. I give them techniques and tools without medicine. It's about the mindset. When you strengthen your mindset, you can pretty much get through anything. But you've got to do it as a continuous thing that forms a habit. The more you do something, the more a habit comes about. And what I did to get me through was affirmations. And I actually thought, oh, airy fairy, it's so foolish as well. And I tell you something, get over yourself. Literally. In fact, watch my TEDx talk. If you put TEDx talk Zoe Bennett, get out of your own way, you'll see you've got to get out of your own way. And these affirmations, I did it every single day, and I would say to myself, I've got this. Today is my day. I am awesome. I am awesome. I am awesome. And I would do it in different tonalities and different ways in order for myself to maybe feel it, embed it. And the more that I did it, guess what? I felt like an invisible shield, and any negative words, any negative things would just bounce off me. So no matter what anyone says to me at any given time, it don't matter. You know why? Because I have my continuous field. That's why I always smile. If anyone ever knows me, I'm always smiling because I know no matter what you say, good or bad, I'm protected because I've created that myself. You've got to create it yourself. Create your affirmations. Create those things that you need to say every day, but it doesn't embed until you've said it at least 30 times in a row over 30 consecutive days to form a habit, but in different tonalities. So I want you all to stand up. All of you, we're going to get this rocking. So you're going to feel the energy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you what to do. You're going to say, and with attitude, you're going to say, I am awesome. Then you're going to look at the person next to you and say to them, you are awesome. And then you're going to high five together and say, together we are awesome. After 3, 1, 2, 3, I am awesome. You are awesome. Together we are awesome. Again, 1, 2, 3, I am awesome. You are awesome. Together we are awesome. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So, you can take a seat. What energy do you feel? Okay, so I'm going to just wrap up and tell you. So as a result, I started my training company, but not only did I do that, I created, all by myself, the MBCC Awards, the Multicultural Business Community Champion Awards, where we recognise and value unsung heroes. Also, created with Errol Lawson, Young People in Construction Awards, where we elevate those young people in construction. Have my own jewellery line, Motivational Queen, trademarked in UK, Europe and USA. I have my own children's books about helping young people with social issues, ADHD, bullying. Have my own business book, Networking Personified. Have my own radio show on Solihull Radio. Why? Don't ever let anyone stop you. And if you're going to give advice, make sure you're doing it yourself. So I will never give advice unless I've done it. So I do these things so I can help and show up for other people. So it's your turn. Thank you very much.